Plaintiff Catherine Hasselback says the defendant is her daughter, and she spent a decade trying to save her from a life of destruction. Catherine claims the defendant was addicted to crack cocaine, and as a result, she divorced her husband and lost custody of her children. Catherine suing her daughter today for a loan and the cost of a laptop. Defendant Shiloh Molnar says after her mother and father divorced, Catherine became a gambling addict. Shiloh claims Catherine's gambling was so bad that she even stole checks from Shiloh to support her addiction, and that had a negative impact on Shiloh's life. Shiloh insists Catherine forgave her debt, and therefore she denies owing.
Start with you.
Okay, this is my daughter. I love her very much. She has been a road to destruction for many years now, and I have been the only one that's been there. I've spent a decade of my life trying to help her. There's been many times I've been afraid I would get my daughter back in a body bag because she was addicted to crack cocaine. She lost custody of her children. She ended up divorced from her husband. She has been in and out of rehab about 5 times, and I've always been the only one that has been there every time, putting her up in housing, buying her furniture, replenishing her homes, buying her cars, always trying to help her.
How long would her sobriety last? Out of the 5?
Sometimes a few months, sometimes a year. This last time it's been about 2 years. She did have one oops last year in November at Halloween. She took off for about 4 to 6 hours and came back and stayed off of that at that point. Mm-hmm. But at this point, I do believe she's on something else. I don't know what it is because she has now treated me with very viciously, vindictive, telling people things about me.
When did she start that?
Just when we had a fight about 3 weeks ago when I went to her
that
home.
Doesn't mean she's on drugs, though.
Well, I don't know how to explain it, but she is not herself.
Okay.
She says things and does things, and she acts all crazy and
all right.
is fidgety and
got it.
Runs in and out and just...
There you go.
There's
something.
That's
behavior that a drug addict would exhibit, and I'm not calling her crackhead because she has been to treatment several times.
Right.
I only call folks crackheads to try and get them to realize that they need to go into treatment.
Yes.
I always use my personal experience in life. I had a very similar situation for a person very close to me. I had to put them in 7 times and raise their child as well. Mm-hmm. So I can understand the distress, not just stress, distress that it causes you, and they typically lack any remorse. Typically lack, even when they're clean, any responsibility that they have to the person who they damaged. Whether it's the child or the person who stood in for them. It's almost as if you were supposed to do it.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I sympathize with you there, and I understand what you've gone through, and hopefully if she's relapsed again, we can help her get it again. I know folks who went 12 times before they were clean, but they ultimately were clean.
Yes,
so,
that's what I hope
most
for.
of the programs, the person I'm talking about, from my observation, they quit for good, perhaps some nearly 20 years ago, thank God, after 1 year of treatment. Mm-hmm. So I know 30 days don't work. That's just detox. Get it out your system. Time you come home, you want to get you a fresh high. The high is better than it was before you went in because you ain't had none in 30 days.
Yeah.
So you hooked right again. Not because you're still chasing that same fresh high that you just had.
Yep.
And so your sobriety might last another 30, 60 days, if that. Then you're back in the treatment. this time, hopefully, you'll get 6 months. And 6 months work a lot from my observation. If you go to those NA meetings every day, sometimes twice a day, the people I've seen succeed most are those who went twice a day upon being released for, say, a few months, and then once a day, every day. It takes a long time, at least a year, and going every day. Anyone tell you they're in recovery just because they found Jesus? No, in fact, Jesus ain't never been lost. They were the one lost. Tell them that first. Say, honey, you were lost. Jesus, what? He never been lost. So you ain't found him. He found you. So they tell you that. So I don't need to go to NA. They do. Nonetheless, let me allow you to give some background, ma'am.
Well, Your Honor, I have never denied that I am not perfect and that I've made a lot of mistakes. But my mother is far from perfect.
I never said
And
I
in
was.
my childhood, please don't interrupt me. I did not interrupt you the entire time you talked. And growing up, she was great. Everybody wanted her as the mom. We played games, it was great. And then about 17, her and my dad got divorced. And my mother became somebody else. She became an addict. She started gambling to the point where she would be gone for 2-3 days at a time at the casino or the bingo, whatever. Stole checks out of my checkbooks for her addiction, and...
How old were you when she stole checks?
I had my daughter, so maybe 22.
You were living there with her?
No, I was living with my father's daughter at the time this occurred.
So how did she get to your check?
I don't honestly know that answer, but she admitted it to me because she had made a phone call. She was in therapy at the time for the addiction.
Oh, okay.
And he had told her she needed to write a letter and make amends or whatnot, and she admitted to it, and we moved past that, sort of, I guess.
All right. Do you know of her to have relapsed again?
I mean, she still goes to the casino and still goes to bingo, but I don't believe it's a ridiculously out of control. Sometimes does she spend more money than she wanted to? Yeah.
You don't think she's harming herself?
No.
I
think she's done well.
All right, so she recovered.
Yeah.
Now we want to hear about you and your
that
challenge.
Affected me as well. So a few years later, why? Because there was a mother I didn't know. She just became different. She started drinking and partying with friends of mine, and just, she changed.
Okay. And when did your crack habit begin?
About 25. I started sorting cocaine first, maybe around 22 or 23.
And so, do you think the two have something to do with each other?
Oh, I don't blame her.
I thought you were saying, that's what it sounded like you were saying, that it affected you.
I'm not saying her addiction specifically, just the change of who my mother was.
Got it.
And a lot of other things that I dealt with in my life at some point. Because I was really against drugs. I did marijuana as a kid, drank, whatever. Not even really drank, but at some point, some people who I thought at the time were my friends, they all did it, and I finally caved. And I said, let me try it, because I'm tired of feeling all this stuff. And I didn't want to feel it anymore. And unfortunately, I liked it. And from that point on, yes, my life went downhill for 10 years, in and out of rehab. And my mother was there, she was by my side. Financially, she helped me, yes. With my children,
Part of rehabilitation is the psychological therapy they give you to overcome the pain that caused the drug addiction. You didn't get that out of the 5 stints in rehab?
Yes, I did. I learned a lot in and out, Okay. I did.
You weren't able to overcome your feelings?
I don't believe I had overcome, I guess. I'm not really sure. I don't really have an explanation other than, yes, I liked it as well because it numbed me. But there are now current issues that I won't use drugs over, but now do not want to have a relationship with my mother. She has also been acting out of character, going around calling my friends, telling them things that aren't true.
All right, we're going to get to what she's suing you for now. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, I'm suing her today because I have a note that she signed back in November stating that she owed me $1,540.
For what?
For money that I had loaned her to pay bills or get gas.
Let's see it, please. You're pointing to a list. Or you're pointing to a
note that she signed.
Okay.
That's all I had at the time was a napkin.
That's all you need. You don't need anything.
And then she also borrowed my computer at the time because she started a job that she needed a computer for. And I had just bought a brand new computer, and I have the receipt for that.
You can put it on toilet paper if you want. It's still an, it's
Nope,
still
I
an
have a
agreement. I owe you $1,540 plus $400 for a computer by December 1 of 16. You sign this, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you say? Have you paid her off?
I had given her money here and there throughout when she asked for certain things or whatnot. No, I did not pay it off.
Why?
The original agreement was when I could afford to. And then, to be honest, she told me about a year into my sobriety that she was proud of me and she verbally wiped out the debt. So I didn't owe her.
You have to sign a new document to amend the agreement unless you have completed the terms of the agreement. You can't amend a written agreement with a verbal agreement. So, by law, you're still liable. $1,440, and you obviously do not want any help because you don't think anything is wrong, correct?
No, I never said nothing was wrong. I just know that I'm not smoking crack, nor will I ever again.
Okay, you don't have a drug.
No, I see a drug therapist. I'm working on what I'm struggling with right now. So
Okay.
I'm with help, and we're working on how to move me past it.
Oh, good. All right, judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
You have your money, now leave me alone.
I have nothing to say anymore. I'm done. She has burned this bridge. I can't be a part of her life. Even when she's clean and sober, whenever that day comes, I can't. She has used me and abused me, and now she's being vindictive and vicious, and I just can't. I can't do it anymore.
It's good, because I don't want a part of her life either, because she's the vindictive one and tries to make it I'm done. I'm done with you too, so I'm glad we're in agreement, so I don't ever have to hear from you again. You got your money, so let's just move on.
Don't keep my granddaughter from me, because
You're the one who keeps your granddaughter, because
I've
she
been
tells me that
calling
you've been
her.
talking to her about me.
I never
You leave
said a
my
word
name
about
out
you.
of your mouth with my granddaughter
I never
around.
said a word.
I'm done.
Bill is a witness to that. I
Bull
never said
crap.
a word. Okay.
My daughter was there
I
with
got
you.
a
He
letter
was
from
not
Bill.
there. I don't care. My daughter tells me.